Hi, my name is Carli Wharton, and this is my Theorist video. So the first theorist that I chose to talk about today is Friedrich Froebel, and I chose him because he is the founder of kindergarten. I kind of gave you a little sneak peek about what I've been talking about, but I feel like you can't introduce him without saying that. Friedrich Froebel is arguably the most influential education reformer of the 19th century. Why? Because he is the founder of kindergarten, which he also is known for referring to as Garden of Children, which I found very interesting. That makes total sense once you connect those dots, but I had never heard it referred to as that, and so I just thought that was an interesting thing to note. His kindergarten was based on his theory that children learn best through self-activity and play, and that that's an essential role of learning in children. He believed that the role of the teacher was not to drill students and to just pour information into students, like through lectures and flashcards and quizzes for retention, that's not how children learn. That's especially not how kindergartners learn. He believed that it was the role of the teacher to guide student learning through play and through self-exploration, through things like centers where students explore and learn together through learning centers, and through playing outside, and like sensory bins, and maybe experiences or experiments that the teacher facilitated and set up, but it's not them just pouring information into the student. It is the student exploring and playing and touching and finding out things for themselves. And that is what he believed was the most effective way for a child to learn, and I 100% agree. I think that this is a notable theory in early childhood education because it has shaped the way that kindergarten and pre-K looks today. That is how teachers teach today, based on his theory in that. And then the next person that I want to talk about is Lev Vygotsky, and he is responsible for the concept of the zone of proximal development. This is notable in early childhood education because it is the basis of how we help our students learn. So this is how Dr. Morrison explained the zone of proximal development to us, and it stuck with me and it makes total sense in my head, so I'm going to use it really quick. I don't know if you can see that at all, but this over here is what your students know and what they can already do independently. And over here is what your students do not know. They have no idea. And so in between here, what has to happen is learning. And so what we have here is the zone of proximal development. And this is everything in here is skills that are too hard for your students to complete independently. But they are completable and they are masterable through the help and the guidance and the scaffolding of a more knowledgeable, more competent, very qualified person. And so that would be your educator. And so this right here is where we have to scaffold our students. And the zone of proximal development is important because we have to know our students. We have to know what they know, where they need to be, how much scaffolding do they need, when do we take it away, how long do we just have to know our students well enough to know how much scaffolding for how long they need us. And so that is why I think it is so notable, his concept of the zone of proximal development, because it's how we help our students learn. This, again, it's shaped the way that we teach students today. And finally, I want to talk about Abraham Maslow. And he is noted to be responsible for Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it is just basically saying that students' basic needs have to be met before cognitive learning can take place. And so what he's saying is, I wish I could share a screen, but I'm just recording and so I can't. But what he's saying is that basic needs like food and water and shelter, physiological needs such as food and water and warmth and rest, and then safety needs such as security, shelter, a place to stay, safety, and they need intimate relationships, they need friends, they need a loving home. They have esteem needs where they have to have a feeling of being enough, a feeling of accomplishment before they can actually start to learn cognitively. And so This is very important, I think, to note. We've talked over and over and over again in this class about the importance of having relationships with our students' families. And I think this is important because we have to know our students and we have to know their families, because we need to have a relationship with them to know if those basic needs, safety needs, physiological needs, relationship needs, if those are not all being met, we could never expect students to learn cognitively what we need them to learn in our classroom. And so I think that this is notable because it's something that we as teachers have to be aware of and have to consider when we see students start to struggle, or we start to see a gap in development, or we start to see it's something that we have to have here so that we know, oh, do we not have some basic needs being met? I have a relationship with the family, I can check on that. I can help them. I can get them resources so that we can get those needs met so that the student can be successful cognitively in our classroom. That is all I have for today. There were so many notable theorists, but these were just my top 3 that I thought were most important. And so I hope that this video was informative, and thank you for your time.